So, if you grew up with SpongeBob SquarePants, you might remember there were some episodes that were specials. These would be double-length episodes that expand the episode time to give more story. Episode specials that I remember was Christmas Who?, which was a Christmas special, and Dunces and Dragons, which was about SpongeBob and Patrick traveling back into medieval times. Although, this wasn't the only time we say Bikini Bottom in a past time. There was an episode that took place in prehistoric times titled SpongeBob BC Before Comedy, also known as UG. This is a double-length episode I remember watching and I still remember it to this day. It basically takes Bikini Bottom and turns it into the setting of 1 million years ago. It definitely gave me some laughs out of it, and I kinda wonder why they didn't do some sequel episodes to some of these specials. Like sure, I would be fun to see more of these, besides holiday specials, but I would love to see some of these plots come back in some modern episodes. I would soon find out why that is for this episode in particular. I figured since I was somewhat of a DVD collector, I decided to go on Amazon and get some SpongeBob DVDs. Last time I did this was for Jimmy Neutron, and they seem to be in good working condition, and I even made sure these weren't bootlegs. I found a 5-for-1 deal of SpongeBob DVDs. These were Nautical Nonsense and SpongeBuddies, Lost at Sea, Halloween, Home Sweet Pinnacle and SpongeBob Goes Prehistoric. This seemed like a good deal to me, and there were photos taken that showed they were real, so I bought them and waited for delivery. About 2 days had passed and I got up to see if it had arrived yet, and the package was at my front door when I opened it. The box was small, and gladly wasn't damaged. I opened it up to see the DVDs in order. They all seemed to be the real deal. But when I got up to SpongeBob Goes Prehistoric, I noticed something off about it. The DVD cover looked like it was a bit poorly printed onto the casing, and there was nothing on the back of it, just plain white. And then I figured why that is. I saw a bit of writing on the back of it, and the back wasn't white, it was just a piece of printer paper on the back of it. I folded it open, and it reads, "There is something about this DVD you shouldn't know about, and if by any chance you find this paper on the back of it, then you will experience an episode I found within the depths of this disc. Kinda strange that there was an episode I never seen of this. If I can recall, there were 9 episodes on this DVD. A secret episode that was hidden in this DVD. This seemed to be a hoax for something, but I'll play along with it to see if it's true or not." I continued reading the paper as I put the disc in my DVD player. In order to find this episode, you must do the following. 1. Boot up the disc in the DVD player. 2. Go into the episode selection. 3. If you have a DVD remote that has numbers on it, press the following numbers: 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, 2, 1, 3, 6, 4. Once you have done so, the episode awaits you. Luckily, I did just so happen to have the exact remote the note said about, and I did just that. I went to episode selection, I made sure to type in the code, and it was right there. An empty menu with the prehistoric Bikini Atoll Island in the background, with the episode displayed. It was called Extinction. From that name alone, I was thinking that this was a sequel episode to UG/SpongeBob BC. Interesting. I decided to select the episode to see exactly what it was. The episode started with the intro, nothing too out of the ordinary. But what I noticed was after SpongeBob did the iconic flute nose part, instead of created by Steven Hillenburg, it said created by. The episode continued as we see the same opening to the SpongeBob BC intro. I was starting to think it was the same episode, except differently. But after when Frenchie said that Patchy was hosting the episode, the screen cut to black for a bit, and we see Patchy's prehistoric house once again, but then I saw and heard an explosion in the background of the trees. What the heck, did someone set off an explosion in the set? The screen then cut to prehistoric Patchy's corpse, and what most noticeable was the fact that his bottom half of his body was missing. Was this a dark connection to the ending of that episode where he was attacked by a dinosaur? It stayed on that exact frame for about 30 seconds till the screen faded to black and opened up to the cartoon episode. The title card read Extinction with light orange glowing text with a magnified background. The intro credits didn't list off anyone, it was straight blank. The episode starts with Sponger and Patar playing outside with Sponge's bubble log and doing some clapping as well. It was pretty much that for 22 seconds till a random background cavefish came by warning about an upcoming danger to the land. This is the first we see someone else besides Sponger, Patar, and Squidward. He said something like, "Dangeronga. Dangeronga. Giant FWEE rock heading to Daesh here." He ran away leaving both Sponger and Patar worried. It came to me that this episode was parodying what happened to the prehistoric times, where a giant meteor destroyed all of existence and dinosaurs as well. Sponger and Patar ran in circles trying to know what to do. But Patar stopped Sponger by tripping him and explains that since his rock is made up of stone, it can have a chance of survival. Sponger and Patar ran to gather supplies and food before the meteor struck. It transitions to Squidward entering out of his house to the sound of silence until the same fish from before tells Squidward the urgent news. Squidward quickly went out into the wilderness to find some supplies and food as well. During his trip, he found some prehistoric wraps as well. This part disgusted me when I viewed this. He stomps on one of them, and there was blood coming out of his shell, and not only that, but Squidward picks up the dead rag body, and eats a half of it, with intestines coming out of it. I got up from the couch to throw up by a nearby garbage can. I was so disgusted by what I just saw. When I came back, a time card read 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left, like before the event. I probably guessed so. It transitioned to Sponger and Patar grabbing their materials and throwing them in Patar's rock. Sponger also brought prehistoric Gary as well as Carrie goes into the house as well despite him being huge. Before they could finish, we see Squidward getting his supplies and going inside his house, but beforehand, he sees what's going on by Patar's rock and sees logs for fire. Squidward got an idea to kidnap the logs so he can have fire to himself. Squidward grabs his club and sneaks up on Patar and slams it into his head and steals his fire. Patar quickly heals and chases after Squidward. Patar and Squidward get into an argument about it, and then, something happens. Patar grabs Squidward by his head and runs to his rock. What happens next is jarring. Patar slams Squidward's head onto this rock house and bashes his brains out several times. Might I add, what's left of Squidward is nothing more than a dead body with blood and pieces of brain on Patar's rock. Sponger and Patar try to reopen the rock, but it's luckily opened, and they entered. The next thing I saw was the meteor. It wasn't too late. Both Sponger and Patar can be seen hearing the meteor each other while they're knowing that they have some shelter. The meteor strikes down. An explosion can be seen in the distance. Reaching its way, we see as they hear the explosion. All of prehistoric Bikini Bottom is nothing. No water. No fish. Nobody expects Sponger and Patar. It then goes pitch black as words fade on screen saying, "Extinction is a part of life. We can't live forever. It's how the cycle works. You'll know what it feels like one day." United Plankton Productions logo. It then cuts to the credits, which was the version used for SpongeBob BC. Although it was pitched down, it then shows the United Plankton Productions logo, but it's different. It's a blue picture of SpongeBob with black eyes as tears falls on his face. It looks like he is drowning in a prehistoric tar pit. Sat Nickelodeon that was used for Extinction. It slowly fades to black, showing a much different logo. It shows the word Sat Nickelodeon, and instead of the usual orange color, it's blue. The shape of it was an arrow, with blue splatters around it. It fades to black for a couple of seconds until it slowly shows what appears to be Bikini Atoll at sunset while seagull noises can be heard in the distance. Words come on screen fading in and out saying, "We knew that they weren't gonna last long. That's how life works. Extinction is inevitable." I took the disc out of the DVD player and put it back in the DVD case. It surprises me that there was a dark sequel to this episode I never knew about, and I think I should have known about. I went to see if there was any mention of this episode, but what I did saw was some info about it on a wiki known as Noetoluxin Wiki. What is Noetoluxin? I did some more digging, and what apparently is a dark, disturbing version of Nickelodeon. The internet has documented these kinds of things and posted footage of the episodes onto YouTube. These episodes were not taken down, but whatever this Noetoluxin is, I will find out. I remember seeing a bunch of VHSs I have in my attic that were Nickelodeon stuff. Maybe I should search for more of these things. Maybe I might lead into some answers.